sharing with you on how to create the Grad Metal Embossed card and gift box. This card is part of the Make It Manly online class preview series for our upcoming Make It Manly class release. In today's video, I will be teaching you how to create the digital image for the masculine card. And so the first thing we need to do is open our My Digital Studio, and it will bring you to this page that reads New Project Options. And you will scroll down to Multiple Output Options and click on it. Then you will choose 8.5 by 11 Portrait. Scroll down to Create Your Own and click on it. And project name Grad 2012. And you will click OK. Once you have done that, it will bring you to an 8.5 by 11 sheet, and you're going to come here to File, scroll down to Page Setup, and we need to set our margins, all of them, to 0.475. And the reason we need to do this is because my printer cannot print without margins, and so the measurements that I'm setting here will coordinate with the measurements of my image so that they will come out to be the correct size. And then you will click OK. And so now what we need to do is come up here to the resource palette and click on stamps. And my stamp set is already here, but normally you would click on browse and scroll down until you found your stamp set, which is down here. You go Grad, it's already highlighted, and I would click open, and then it'll show up right here. I'm using the image, the tassel is worth the hassle, and so there it is. I'm going to double click on it, and it is on my document. Now I'm going to right click on it, scroll down to Edit Object to resize the image, and on width I'm going to set it to 3.151, and on height I'm going to set it to 2.897. I'm going to click X, and there it is resized. Now I'm going to left click on the image and drag it right here. Then I'm going to hit Control C and then Control V, and there is my image, and so I'm going to place my cursor over it and drag it to where I want it. Now Control C is for copying and Control V is for pasting, and so that is a shortcut. Now I'm going to come over here to Arrange, and I'm going to select all, and now you're going to see that the little markers are around both images, and I'm going to come back to Arrange, and I'm going to group them so now they appear in a rectangle. Now I'm going to place my cursor again, hit Control C at the same time, then Control V, and you will see that my copied image is now there. So I'm going to place my cursor inside, drag it, and when it's where I want it to be, I'm going to let go of the left button, and there it is, drag and drop, and then Control V again for the same image that I am pasting, and I'm going to drag and drop it right where I want it. And here are the images for creating my graduation card. Okay, so once you have done this, you need to come over here to File. You're going to scroll down to Print, and yes, you're going to save your project. And so it is now saved. You're going to click here, and then you're going to make sure that you set your print quality to 100%, and you're going to make sure that you set that your printer is set correctly, and you're going to click Print, and this will be sent off to be printed. And so once you have done that, then you will begin assembling your card, and we will show you how to do that in our next video. Okay, so as you can see, I have now printed the image that we enlarged. The tassel is worth the hassle from the Grad digital stamp brush set. And now that I have printed it out onto Whisper White cardstock, I'm going to cut around the frame of this image, and I am going to put it to the side. So the first thing I need to do is I need to take a 4¼ by 11-inch piece of basic black cardstock, and I'm going to score it at 5½ inches. Once I've done that, I'm going to fold it in half to create my card base. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is we need to metal emboss our bronze god pieces, and I will be using the striped impressions folder by Stampin' Up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 3 by 4 and 1/16 inch piece of metal and my smaller piece, which measures 1 7/8 by 2.5, and I'm going to place them inside my impressions folder. Now, the base on which I'm going to be applying this larger piece, it actually measures 4 inches, but because of the design on this, in this pattern, I added 1/16 of an inch because the metal will shrink due to the image that will be embossed. And then I will take this and place it with cutting plates on tab number 1, and I will run it through my Big Shot. When I have done that, I will end up with a piece like this. Now, a lot of people ask me, okay, so how do I know when I need to use backing paste and when I don't? Well, this is a perfect example of a time where you do. And the reason is because, as you can see, the space in between the embossing lines is big. And so if I try to press down on this, I would crush the image. And I don't want to crush the image. And so I need to fill the back of this piece. Okay, so here is my piece, and I'm going to flip it over. And every other stripe right here is debossed as I'm looking at it, and in those areas I'm going to fill it with the Add a Little Dazzle backing paste. I'm going to shake it up, and if it gets a little bit thick, then all you need to do is add a little bit of water, and that will help. And so now all I'm going to do is I'm going to start pouring, or squeezing, I'm sorry, the backing paste ever so gently into the area that is debossed on the back. And as you can see, it is very easy to do. I'm going to do that here also. And I'm going to continue doing it for all the pieces, all the stripes, I'm sorry, on the back of this metal embossed piece. Let me do one more. As you can see, very easy to fill in. And then once you have filled the entire piece, set it by a windowsill to dry for about 20-30 minutes, and it'll be perfect. Once the backing paste has dried, then you are going to apply sticky strip along the 4 walls of the piece. And you are going to take the 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of basic black cardstock, and we are going to assemble our card front on here. And so the first thing you need to do is just peel the red film off the sticky strip, and I like to use the edge of pointed scissors, or you can use a paper piercing tool if you would like. And that I have peeled that, I'm going to center and attach it to my card front, and I'm just going to hold it up so I can see what I'm doing, because I want to make sure to get it even, as close as I can. There we go. And I've now attached the piece, and you can see I'm pressing down and nothing is happening. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Mocha Morning Specialty Designer Series paper piece that measures 2 3/4 by 4 inches, and I'm going to run snail adhesive along the back, and I'm going to attach it to the lower portion of my card front. Now, here's my piece, as you can see. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 6-inch piece of basic black satin ribbon, and I'm going to run a little bit of snail right there to center it and attach it onto here. I'm going to flip it over, run some snail here and here, and wrap it around. Now, one thing that I do want to mention is that both Mocha Morning Designer Series paper and the basic black satin ribbon is retiring today, May 31st. So if these are items that you want to get them today, because after today it will be gone. Okay, now that I have assembled my piece, I want to create 2 little holes on the side where I can place my gold brads. But before I do that, here is the piece that I am going to center. And this is a 3-inch square of basic black cardstock, and I added a 2 3/4 inch square piece of Whisper white cardstock that I placed on top of it. And then I took the tassel is worth the hassle image, I cut it out and I added dimensionals to it to make it stand out. Now for this piece, it's going to go right here. You can either attach it with sticky strip because of this metal piece here, or you can use Stampin' Dimensionals. And for this particular project, I wanted to add more of a lift, and so I decided to add Stampin' Dimensionals. The only thing that I will say is that I do not recommend that you use snail adhesive, because if you try to attach metal and cardstock together using snail adhesive, it's not going to work. So you definitely don't want to do that. And so here I've removed the pieces, and I'm going to center it. And I'm just going to lift it up so I can see it. Okay, and the only thing I've noticed is that my ribbon is a little bit off. And since I attached it with snail adhesive, that's easy enough to reposition exactly where I want it to be. Now I will mention that the good thing of attaching it with Stampin' Dimensionals versus sticky strip is that if you find that it wasn't positioned quite the way you wanted it to, you can remove it and reposition it without damaging your designer series paper. So, okay, let me see. There we go. So I got it right where I wanted it. And so now I want to add 2 little gold brads here. And so I'm going to take my crocodile, and my crocodile is also retiring today, May 31st. So if you want a crocodile, you still have time to get it. And so now you're going to place it in there, and you're going to punch a hole, and it went right through. And if it cut off a little bit of that ribbon, don't worry about that. That's fine. And then you're going to do it on the other side. Same thing. And if you need to, just go in with the scissors carefully and trim it just a little bit to get that top fuzzy piece here. And actually, you need to use ribbon scissors. That will cut much better than using your regular scissors. And so now that I've done that, I'm going to take my gold brads. I'm going to place them right where I want them on each side. And that piece of ribbon that's frayed there, it will fall underneath the brad. So you've done that. I'm going to flip the piece over. I'm going to open the little brads. Just place it right there. I'm going to open the little brads. I'm going to spread the little legs. And I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. And here is my card front. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 4 1/4 by 5 1/4 inch card front, and I am going to attach this to the center. Now what I've already done is I've gone ahead and attached a 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of Whisper white cardstock, and I always do that to the inside of my cards because that way I can write easily without the need to worry that I'm going to need to get some special kind of pen because of the color of the cardstock. And so now I'm just going to flip it over, and I'm going to run some snail along the edges here. And once I've done that, then I'm going to flip it over, and I am going to place it on my card front. make sure it is correctly aligned, and press down, and you have, oh, see, it's a little bit, it didn't come out exactly how I wanted it, and so this is a good thing because I use snail adhesive. I can easily remove it and reposition it because it was off quite a bit. I didn't center it. So there we go. Let me see now. Perfect. I got it exactly where I wanted it now. And I just press down. And let me see now. Perfect. It's right where I want it. And this is a beautiful and elegant masculine card for a high school graduate, but even more appropriate for a college graduate, for a bachelor's, a master's degree, and even a PhD. And so now, in the next part of our video, you're going to learn how to create the gift box that coordinates with this card. Okay, so now we are going to create the coordinating gift box to match this card. Now, this little box was created using the Matchbox die, which will also be retiring today. So today is actually your last day to purchase it. And I turned it into a graduation cap, and I'll be teaching you how to do that along with this tassel. And let me show you how it works when you open it. Look at that, how cute is that? I took the money, I took $10 bills, and I rolled them up to make them look like little diplomas. I attached it with Scotch tape, and then there is a perfect little gift. So for the graduate, you can place any amount of money that you would like in there. And so now we're going to learn how to do this gift box. To begin creating this gift box, we are going to use the Matchbox die, and I've placed it on top of the extended cutting pad along with the shim underneath and then the die on top. And these are the two areas that we're going to be working with. And what I did was I took a 5.5 by 6.5 inch piece of basic black cardstock and cut it out to place it right there. And then I took a 3.25 by 6.75 inch piece of basic black cardstock, and I placed it there. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my premium crease pad on top of it, and I'm going to run this piece through my Big Shot. Once I've run my piece through the Big Shot, I will end up with two pieces like this. And so what I will need to do is I will need to go over all the creases on this cardstock. And so I'm going to begin going over all of them. And so what you are going to do, so you can see I'm doing that right here, you're going over every single one of them. And then I have these corners, I'm going to bring them in to create that fold ahead of time. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these areas with the long flaps and I'm going to attach it, sticky strip onto it, because this will create the perfect hold that I need for this box. In order to facilitate constructing this box, I'm going to place a little bit of snail, right here. And I'm going to begin by going ahead and peeling the red film. There we go. And I'm going to bring in these two corners, attaching them right there where I had the snail. And I'm going to fold this long flap over. If I need to, I can bring it in like this, and that will make it easier for me to work with. And you pretty much have to find which way works best for you. And so now those are held tightly with sticky strip. And I have these two little end pieces, and they have little bitty flaps that I can just fold in carefully. You don't have to do that, it'll fall right into place, but if you want to, you can do that. And I'm just placing it right inside of there. You can go over it with your bone folder. And there we go. and that's all there is to it. And then you remember that piece that we took, you're going to place sticky strip on the back. You can apply the backing paste along the back of this one if you'd like also. I didn't do it for this specific one, but you can if you want to. And then you're just going to finish. There we go. Nope. Peeling it off. And I'm going to place it right in there. And I am going to attach it. And this just, let me bring it in a little bit here. There we go. And so what this is going to do, it's just going to give me a better finished look. And I believe that presentation is very important. So as much as you can make it have a pretty finished look, you want to do that. And so there's the box. Place our bills in there. And here's what it looks like. And so all you're going to do is you're going to take it. Let me undo this one so you can see what I did. And I just rolled it up, held it there to create as much tightness as I needed to. Just wrapped it around. And then I got the piece of Scotch tape and I just attached it right there. And you can add any denomination of money that you want and place it in there. And so we have a small flap and we have a larger flap. Here's the larger one and here's the smaller one. So we're going to take sticky strip and we're going to run it along the bottom piece. And then I'm also going to place sticky strip right here on the second area, not the other flap, but in the next area. You're going to place some sticky strip, as this is where we are going to be attaching our graduation cap. And so then you're just going to peel it and wrap it around. Make sure the ends are meeting. There you go. And here is the base. And so now as you see, I have the two pieces there. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to attach the 3-inch square piece to my box right here, as you can see. And then I'm going to attach it there. Attach it, and there's the top of it. And so now what we need to do is create this tassel. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to take a 3 by 5 inch piece of basic black cardstock. I've scored it on the 5-inch side at 2.5, and I'm going to take my embroidery thread with the flap open and I'm going to place it right there and hold it with my thumb, and I'm going to start wrapping. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I keep on going until you have it wrapped around 25 times. 5 times around, and now I've taken an extra piece of embroidery thread. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my finger here and run that embroidery thread right there, and I'm going to bring it all the way up over here. Now I want to create a knot right here. I'm just going to tie it right there. And that creates my knotted piece. And so there we go. And so now what I'm going to do, I'm not going to worry about creating a hoop over here because I'm going to be running that through the hole on my top of my graduation cap. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it over here, run my scissors through and cut right through so it gets through all the tassel, all the thread, I'm sorry, and as you can see here it is. Now what I need to do now is I need to take an extra piece of embroidery thread and I needed to wrap it around right here to create a head, and so I'm going to do that now, and I'm going to wrap it around 10 times Okay, so what I did, like I said, was I took the extra piece of embroidery thread and I wrapped it around here 10 times to create a head, and the beginning piece got wrapped up in here. And then what I did was I took that embroidery thread and I left it long enough so that I can knot it onto one of these so it would just blend in, and there it is done. So I'm just spreading out the tassels, but now I need to clean it up, and so I'm gonna take my fabric scissors, find it at what length I want it and that they all meet evenly, and I'm just going to trim it up, and there is a perfect tassel. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 2 3/4 inch square piece, I'm going to punch a hole through there, run the embroidery thread through it, as you can see here. Then I placed a glimmer brad, a black glimmer brad through it. I attached it on the back with some Scotch tape, and then I added stamping dimensionals to the back and I attached it to the 3-inch square piece. And let me show you again what the finished product will look like. And so here is a perfect gift box that coordinates beautifully with the card. It reads, "The tassel is worth the hassle," and you have a graduation cap that perfectly is a money holder or any kind of gift holder for the graduate during this graduation season. As you can see, these projects are very easy to create, and this gives you a small glimpse into our upcoming Make It Manly online class that will be released in a few weeks. This also gives you a glimpse into the dazzling projects that you will receive as a member of the Add a Little Dazzle Virtual Club. We invite you to visit us at www.addalittledazzle.com to find out more about this exclusive club that we would love for you to join. We also invite you to visit our Stampin' Up! Store and our Add a Little Dazzle store, where you can purchase products for all your crafting needs. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me at monica@addalittledazzle.com. Thanks, and have a dazzling day.